Barbie did not make top 100 in the 21st century.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you literally just didn't see it.
I didn't see it. I literally did
Oh
not
my
see
God.
It. That movie
You're
never
gonna get
crossed
crushed.
my eyes.
You're gonna get crushed. I have to edit this out. You're the last man on the planet not to watch Barbie. I respect that. And welcome to the Actor's Guide to the Underworld podcast, where we talk about acting in Hollywood in a way people understand. I'm your host, Econ Song.
And I'm Rían. What's happening?
What's up? Follow us wherever you find your podcast at Actors Guide Podcast. We have video on YouTube, on Substack, and follow us on all social media at Actors Guide Podcast. This is going to be a fun episode, as opposed to all the other episodes we push out to you, all the dreary stuff.
All the misery and drudgery.
Exactly. So this is going to be a real fun one, guys. On the show for today, we talk about Amazon investing in a startup that allows you to be your own showrunner using generative AI. They call it the Netflix of AI, everyone.
Jesus.
We also get into why Tarantino calls it a repressive era of cinema right now. But we promise this is going to be a fun episode, not depressing. Fun, not depressing. We talk about New York Times top 100 list, best films of the 21st century. We talk about films we appreciated, films that didn't make the list. Side note, you're going to hear all the amazing films Rían's never seen. Teaser.
Yep.
And on with the show.
And our sponsor this week is AI Headshots. Want to look like Brad Pitt? And our sponsor this week is AI. Oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to be able to say this. And want to look like Brad Pitt, but you look like an armpit?
AI Headshots got you covered. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe you're fugly, but thankfully there's an app for that.
Oh, good.
AI Headshots. It's like you, but way better.
There you go. Jesus.
Word around town, we're going to throw in this story just for spice. I don't know if you heard about this.
I definitely didn't.
Amazon just invested in a Netflix of AI startup. Basically, this service, I don't know if you saw this, is this a service that allows the user to be a showrunner. You get to create your own TV show. And
oh, no, I did not see this. This sounds terrifying.
The startup name is called Fable, but the actual streaming service will be called Showrunner. It's animation focused, generative AI. It's following several months.
Okay.
Yeah, it is animation focused. So that obviously that's an easier place to start, and it'll be free to use. But eventually, they're going to start charging creators for credits to allow them to create TV scenes.
What a shock!
Anyone can view it for free, and of course, you can share it on YouTube and all the third party. They're hoping to get that buzz and get the word out. My first thought was, I think the kids are calling it AI slop. The AI slop that is starting to just fill social media platforms and YouTube. You see videos generated. People are sharing it. Kind of fun and it's kind of exciting at first, but I think people are going to get desensitized a little bit. I do think it's a great tool if you're an incredible storyteller, and then you're going to have tools at your access. But it's going to be interesting because you're going to be able to see a bunch of separate AI-generated scenes. Supposedly, and they say here, the founder says, the Toy Story of AI isn't just going to be a cheap Toy Story. Our idea is that the Toy Story of AI would be playable with millions of new scenes, all owned by Disney. I don't know how that works. They just said that Fable is in talks about a partnership with Disney and other Hollywood studios.
So here's what I was go back. Sorry, keep going. If there's more.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Here's my take on this. Who is this? Who does this appeal to? Like, remember that? I think I brought this up before. Remember that Black Mirror episode where you could choose the ending?
Right. Yeah. That's a great point.
That was like a tiny taste of that, and I don't think people want to do that, because I think, who wants to sit down? It's hard enough to pick something to watch. Like when I sit down to pick a movie or a show to watch, unless somebody's like recommended it to me, I'll just keep scrolling endlessly, because So I don't know that somebody wants to get in there and go, what am I going to create today? And then watch it. I don't know
too
that
many choices.
Yeah,
Too many
I don't know
choices.
that it has mass appeal. There's probably a few people who'd be into it, but I don't know. I don't see it.
I agree, and then they admit that it's an experiment. They're gonna see. It's basically a complement to watching your favorite movies and TV, and then maybe you can create your own world with some characters, and create it that way.
Well, I get why they're doing it because
yeah.
it's like it's no work for them. It's just like, okay, here's access to all of our library.
Oh no, I'm saying users could create their own
I get
Avengers world. Yeah.
No, I understand that, but I get why companies are doing it because they're like, well, it's no work for us. We don't have to pay anybody. Here you go.
Right.
Go nuts.
Yeah.
Make your own stuff.
Exactly.
It's the laziest form of like entertainment for them. They're just like, all right, we've already made all this stuff. You go and rehash it and add bits to it, and we don't have to lift a finger. So I get
that's
that.
true. They're creating the content. They're creating the entertainment. One thing that comes to mind is I think people are going to realize how hard it is to make TV, and how hard it is to make film that's actually good. I mean, the irony is everyone was complaining about Hollywood writers not being good, and if you go on YouTube, obviously they're pretty negative and they're pretty biased against what they think current Hollywood Hollywood entertainment is, and then let's see them do any better. I think it'll be eye-opening because I think they're going to realize how hard it is, and they're not. I don't think they're going to want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be a fun episode.
I know. I wanted to throw that in there. It gets better. It gets better.
This is more.
No,
the
this
same,
is just for texture. This is just for texture.
Yeah.
Before we get to the fun stuff, I do want to make a statement here. If you listened to last episode, it was a slow news week. We eventually started talking about our feelings, and we're really vulnerable. It was a huge mistake. We promise that'll never happen again.
No, that was good stuff. What are you talking about?
Yeah. That was a terrible mistake. So now we're going to get to the funs and giggles that everyone wants to hear. And so we're going to talk about the New York Times top 100 films of the 21st century. We kind of teased it last week. This kind of fits when we throw in this Amazon AI generated story, because this, if you knew, this list came out a month ago. There's been a handful of people talking about it, but there's kind of been this conversation around film, which is great because, obviously New York Times puts out a pretty massive list like this, and more people are talking about film. It makes me want to appreciate and dig into these great films even more, because we are at mercy of these streaming platforms. In a not so distant future, streaming platforms, we're going to have trouble finding things. They could pull a movie here. The greatest fear is that great films are going to be hard to access, and next thing you know, that everything's AI generated. Obviously, that's an extreme. It's even more reason why I want to talk about this list. I saw a video with Richard Linklater. He's a hardcore film buff.
That video, will you will you put up the link later? That was terrible. That was fucking terrible.
No, I thought that's pretty good. Anyway, so you can imagine how many film students, film geeks go up to him and say, "Hey, I want to make films. Tell me how to make films." And Linklater has he has his own theater. He has his, he's a hardcore trying to keep film alive. He's a very independent filmmaker. And he says, "Oh, have you come over to the theater?" And they're, "Oh, yeah, I've been meaning to, or I never get a chance to go." And he sees that all the time. And his point is these kids who say that they want to make film, they actually don't watch enough film. They don't go out to the theater, and they don't love it enough. And he was pretty harsh. I mean, he also might have been like he sounded like an old grandpa, but he basically said, "You're not going to make anything. Like, you should just quit. You should do something else because you just don't love it enough." And it's that much harder to be a filmmaker where that's the bar. You have to love it. You have to search it out. You have to watch it. I mean, also, the icing on the cake is Tom Cruise, who's obviously not a director, but, one of the more influential actors of our time. Supposedly he watches a movie every day.
Wow.
And he's not the only one. He literally watches a movie every day.
I mean,
So he's
his
you know,
knowledge is exceptional. I mean, his filmmaking knowledge as an actor, his filmmaking knowledge is, I don't know, quite unbelievable when you look at some of the stuff he does and how he does it. That's interesting. We had a conversation. I don't know. This ties in a little bit, I think. But we had a conversation in class the other night, and it was: do you think acting as it is in its current form is going to go the way of ballet and opera, in that it will become a sort of an outdated art form? Now, I have an opinion on that, but I'm just. This was a question we were talking about because of the way things are going. Because, like we talked about last week, content creator was one of the top 10 jobs for kids, and the way that they consume entertainment and media is very different now. And I don't know, in a generation, are people going to? Someone made the argument that people use those platforms like TikTok and YouTube to get to the point, to get their profile visible enough to the point where they can make movies, real movies or whatever. That they were using that as a springboard to get into scripted content and good, like proper movies and TV. I don't know in a generation if that's going to be the same thing, though. If it'll exist in the same way. The more entertainment becomes short form clips, YouTube shorts, TikTok videos, Instagram reels, all of these things, does it dilute the allure of movies and TV as they are now?
I think that's a great way to put it. That's a lot of great context for our conversation last week that didn't make it in. I think the nuanced take is it really depends on the person. A lot of people don't want to become actors for TV and film, like the films that we're going to talk about. A lot of them just want to be famous, and there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of them just want to be famous on social media, and there's nothing wrong with that. And they have no interest in doing film and TV. So there's
what does fame bring, though? Like, what does fame in and of itself? What's its inherent value, do you think?
I think, and I'll put it in the clearest terms because I get it. I think it's wanting to feel special.
So it's
Simple
validation.
I think so. I think if you're talking about fame on social media, you're talking about numbers, to be honest. I think it's follower numbers, and that's a measure of their following. I think it's a measure of how many people are watching you, how many people are looking at you. And, a more nuanced conversation is there's a drastic difference between the number of followers you have and the actual brand engagement you have with your audience. So that's a whole different conversation. But I think on a very superficial level, people want to be famous, and they also get brand deals, and they also pay their bills. And I agree. I think there's only a small few that actually wanted to do traditional film and TV. They might do it. They might do a couple projects. They might poop out, and then they're going to start a face skincare line and make money and then do a reality show. And those worlds don't have to coincide. And the last thing I will say is, your guys' conversation kind of hits it on the head. I've been scared to kind of say this, but I've been saying that.
Say it.
Since we went on strike. I've been saying that since we went on strike, to be honest.
Do you think it's going to die out?
Die out is strong, but I think it's going to be a very niche thing. Let's also keep in mind, theater is going to be bustling as a opposition to AI, I think. Theater, in-live performances, concerts, they are blowing up right now. And I think that's an opposition to the video, social media, remote world that we've been living in. But as far as TV and film and acting, I feel like a smaller and smaller percentage of people are going to participate and are even allowed to participate because the industry is going to shrink. And then I think it is going to be like, going to the museum, opera,
Interesting.
painting.
So I don't know that I agree with that. Well, when you say theaters blowing up, what do you mean by that?
I feel like if you're wondering for a way to cut through the noise of AIs taking over, the way that people are going for engagement, for brands, for audiences, it's in live events. So Broadway theater numbers are obviously, I mean, people are paying $1 billion for Broadway theater. So that's obviously the top of the top. Live concerts for musicians, it's blowing up right now. Live Nation is, at an all-time high for stock. Concerts have been really busy this summer in particular. Those are the type of things. And I feel like for brands and for brands and engagement, a lot of people are going towards live event activations to incorporate and sell their products. So I feel like people are yearning for this in-person type of entertainment.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's great that they're, that if the numbers back that up, then I actually think that scripted content and acting as it is now won't go the way of ballet and opera, because I think they're different things. I think they're very different things. Ballet and opera can feel a bit inaccessible, I think, to people, because like ballet is a specific form of dance which not everybody is interested in or understands, and opera's, people singing in a specific style, often in Italian. So I think that they are kind of by their nature a little bit less, they're much less accessible to people.
I think we're splitting hairs for what accessible means, because I do feel like the summer films have been strong, but we're seeing less and less people go to the movie theaters. We're seeing that the movie theater experience is becoming more and more niche. We're also seeing more users and more of the audience preferring social media than traditional film and TV. So we're kind of splitting hairs here. What I'm saying is that population might be shrinking, is what I'm afraid of.
I think there'll be a need there for really good scripted movies. Like Sinners have already changed how studios view what they're putting out. I think that changes the way studios think about what they're putting out, and I think something like that can really shift.
I hope so.
I hope so too. But just to touch on the fame thing, like you said, that a lot of people just want to be famous, and there's nothing wrong with that. And sure, there's nothing wrong with it. But I also think, like, what is there happiness in it for them? Do they, when they get there, they're like, got it, nailed it? You know what I mean? Like, I understand the validation thing, but I think ultimately it's a futile pursuit if it's in and of itself, because I don't think any amount of fame makes. This is not, I'm not saying anything revolutionary or new, but like we've seen it time and time again, that fame doesn't bring happiness, because it doesn't fulfill the need, I think, that drives the desire for it.
Let me put it this way, because I think you're right. That ultimately is up to the person. I'm going to paraphrase this. If someone got famous for something that they didn't really, really, truly like, if they got famous in a way that's not really their inner desires, they're not going to be happy. Let's be honest. Like, you're not. If you actually want to be Meryl Streep, but you got famous for doing TikTok dances, you're kind of not going to be happy. That being said, it really depends on the person. Like, obviously, there's a lot of people who became famous as an actor who realized it was futile and weren't happy either. So sure. I think that's less of a conversation between actor and social media influencer, and more just, hey, it's another way to get to fame. A lot of people want to figure it out for themselves and realize, hey, you kind of need something more beyond that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But I also think there's an upside to fame, and that it gives you access and it gives you opportunity in it. But I was actually thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking of the value of the work that we do, and what's the personal value of the work that we do. And I think for me, it's sort of twofold. One, I really enjoy, for example, like doing a film or a TV show. I love the process of that. I love the experience of it. I love the people. I love the environment. Once it's done, wherever it goes is kind of none of my business and it's out of my hands. The value of what happens afterwards, I think what I came to is the value afterwards of what we do is in how much access does it give me to do the next thing. You know what I mean? If the visibility of it helps me get the next job, then that's the value of it for me personally. Right. Because as I get older, more and more, I don't know. I don't know when it happened, but the result of how something turns out is less important to me than it used to be. It used to be really important. Like, I hope this is a great thing, and I hope it's brilliant. And
this is good because I just want to paint this dichotomy here. The way that you and I approach this, it's so distinct right now, and you're basically saying it. Those two things, it's great that gives you enough enjoyment and gives you enough drive to keep going.
Yeah.
What you just said is kind of scary. A lot of people can't handle what you just said. If I didn't know you better, this is how someone could hear that. You love the feeling of doing something, and you also love the feeling of getting to the next time you get to do it, and it's crack cocaine. The two things that give you enjoyment and great pleasure, that's not enough for a lot of people. And a lot of people would leave the business if that's the only two. My point is an actor loves being on set, and it just uses them to propel to the next job. In all of that process, they are not 100% in control. And there's a lot of humility in that, and that's what we signed up for, and we love that, and that's traditional Hollywood. But this new version of entertainment, where you can actually kind of control what you create, how you engage with your fans, engage followers, building and following, that gatekeeper has kind of been dismantled a teeny bit, or at least the door's open, where right off the bat, it's great to be on an acting job. But if you talk to someone who's a creator or social media influencer or a YouTuber or whatever, they're already their own studio. So in no process, when they're like, oh, I love making something. I do the cameras, I edit myself, I put in my own sound design. They actually liked doing that when all the actors were bitching about doing self-tapes. So they already entered into a different world where they were in control. They see it. They're there from the beginning conception of the idea all the way end to the edit, and then they get to craft it, and then they get to edit it, and then they get to remarket it, and then create their brand and audience. So they already jumped all of the actors as far as control, if that's what they're looking for.
Interesting.
So this whole idea that they were, we're waiting for the next job, that's the type of lottery ticket excitement drug that we all kind of loved and saw it. And there's a lot of actors who are already out of the business. They're like, yeah, I kind of just went back to grad school. And I don't blame them for that. But this whole social media YouTube thing is offering another way where a lot of those people don't even, they run their own studio. They never want to be an actor in film and TV anyway. So it became a legitimate other option. Maybe they'll be put in an American Airlines commercial. It's nice for them, but they didn't get into that. They became their own studio by creating their YouTube channle.
What you said is a lot of value. There's a lot more creating I could be doing. You know what I mean? Just to not with any end goal in mind, but just to kind of feel that creative process, which can get a bit stifled when you're waiting. I think waiting is a horrible,
exactly.
It's a horrible state to be in any form. Waiting is the worst state of being to be in, because
I think a lot of that has to do with right. I think a lot of that has to do with we're at mercy of the industry. We said it last week. If there's studios are contracting, there's less jobs. Then the question is, what are we going to do with our time?
Yeah, it's like Alan, one of the guys I'm in class with, Alan Trinka, who just produced this short film. I posted the trailer yesterday. It looks brilliant. But he was
that's awesome.
He was someone who just, I think there was he wanted to put something out there because he was there. He has the same frustrations as all of us with the waiting, and he made something brilliant. Self-funded,
awesome.
Wrote it, directed it, acted in it, and it looks fantastic. And then that sort of inspired me. So I don't know. I feel like I'm learning all the time with this stuff, and there's a lot of room for improvement and trying things.
This is a great segue, because to add to this conversation, there is a movement right now where people are talking more about film. Kevin Bacon just started doing an Instagram thing where he talks about his favorite movies like every Monday. I think he calls it Movie Mondays or something. As he put it, I think he got this from his wife. We need movies and movies need us. Anyway, so Tarantino was just on Tom Segura's podcast, and
that's Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah,
just to clarify.
Thank you. Basically said that if you look at the decades of film history, there was pendulum swings. He basically said right now he feels like we're in a repressive era of film. Hopefully it swings back around. And I think this conversation is part of that, you know? We got to get to the fun stuff. We're going to get into the New York Times Top 100 list. Here's the thing. Tarantino says we're entering a repressive era of cinema. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. This list, first of all, it's a great talking point. It's a lot of fun. This list was polled by 500 of the top directors, actors, writers in entertainment. This is not a bunch of New York Times writers trying to be all snobby. And there's some surprises. There's some omissions. And we'll go from there. We'll jump around a little bit. And then they also have a couple lists that celebrities chose. So the way that they rank this, the top 10 movies, basically each person said, you're going to choose your top 10 movies of the 21st century. Obviously, that's January 1st, 2000 to right now. Mm-hmm. You're going to choose the top 10 movies. Now, personally for me, I think that's daunting because I have no idea what was in 2008 versus 2004. So this is a large scoping list. So before you kind of dive into the whole thing, do you actually have a top 10 for yourself?
Oh, not off the top of my head.
Okay, yeah, I know. I mean, I don't want to put you under the gun.
City of God would be one of them. That was an incredible. But that's since 2000, right? Loved. Or what is it? Movies that I would put on the top 10, or movies that I think will be on the top 10?
Either one. Well, I think the fun part of it is if you had a movie that you loved that didn't make it, I think that's kind of the fun part. Because when I realized how many omissions are on there, and obviously this list is, we wouldn't be talking about it if this wasn't a good list. This is a really good list. Mm-hmm. And it's also a good talking point for, oh man, I heard so much about this movie. I never got a chance to watch it, and maybe I'll watch it now. You know what I mean? So there's a little of that appreciation. Fair. But there's a handful I'm like, wow, I can't believe this didn't make it. Anyway. Anything that comes to mind?
That's
that
a good
really
question because I'm trying to think of 2000 on, and that's No Country for Old Men, I would say.
Okay. Yeah.
Incredible film.
That's definitely one of the tops.
Yeah. The Departed, would that be on there? I love The Departed.
Okay. You're off to a good start here. I just want to start out with the last 10. Let me just name the last 10 because I think it's telling of. This is tough competition. Okay, so let me just read the last
movies.
10.
As we're talking about it, I'm thinking of more like movies that I love, like Everything Everywhere All at Once. I thought was a brilliant, cool original movie. Sorry, go ahead. There's just movies keep popping up in my head now.
So the last 10: Frances Ha by Noah Baumbach, Fish Tank by Andrea Arnold.
I've not seen either of them.
Oh, Frances Ha was great. Frances Ha starred Greta Gerwig. It was kind of almost Greta Gerwig's coming out party. Great film. Okay. Anyway, so I'll just read this off. Frances Ha, Fish Tank, Gladiator was 92.
Great movie.
Yeah. Michael Clayton, Minority Report.
I loved Michael Clayton.
I know.
And Minority Report. Both of
The
them.
Worst Person in the World, Black Panther, Gravity, Grizzly Man by Werner Herzog, Memories of a Murder by Bong Joon-ho, and then the 100 was Superbad.
Great movie.
This is, I think the reason why I'm starting with the last 10 is the competition is so stiff. A lot of these movies I would have put it way earlier. Yeah. I really would have.
But I mean, I suppose that's the That's the fun of it, because it's so subjective and it's so, people like different things. I suppose in a list you get a bit more of a consensus if people are voting on it, but it's very subjective. I mean, these are
yeah. I liked Gladiator. I thought Gladiators are really. I thought it would be higher than 92, but like I said, stiff competition. By the way, Anchorman did make it. Oh, you bet it did. Oh, you bet it did. Anchorman's 85. Fellowship of the Ring was 87. So the thing that's interesting with this is I was curious how many big franchise movies would make it.
Did Poor Things make it?
Oh, interesting you say that. That was one of the omissions.
Oh, I fucking love that movie.
Poor Things did not make it. I believe The Favorite did.
Another
and The Favorite was the same. Yeah, The Favorite was a same director. Let me see.
Yorgos Lanthimos. Yeah.
We'll get into the missions later because I think it's really a really great list as well. Ratatouille, 73. Panther at 96.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only superhero movie except for Dark Knight. I mean, The Dark Knight better be on there. I mean, that'd be insane if it wasn't. Have you ever watched Inside Llewyn Davis?
No.
I don't know if I could get into that movie. That was a Coen brother. That was Oscar Isaac's, actually. That was his first big starring role, I think. It was a little I got to give it another try. I kind of couldn't get into it. But maybe.
How many Wes Anderson movies on there?
That's a good question.
Let me guess. I'm going to guess 2, maybe 1 or 2. I'd say 2 at the most. And I like Wes
which
Anderson,
2 would you
for the
choose?
record. Grand Budapest Hotel, but that one stood out to me.
Yeah, there you go. You're spot on. Grand Budapest was the only one that made it.
Wow. Okay.
So Everything Everywhere All at Once, a great original film, number 77. We do have some art house. We have Tree of Life, Terrence Malick at 79.
Oh, yeah.
Black Swan. We see a couple. I think that. Yeah, I love Black Swan too. That was the only Aaron. I think that was the only Aronofsky actually.
Because I would have thought that at least one other. I suppose. Oh my God.
Oh, that's right. No, I think that Requiem for a Dream. Requiem for a Dream.
I almost passed out at that movie because I was watching it. I have a kind of a fear of needles. I have a thing with veins and needles, and in that movie,
I could see that.
Jared Leto shoots up into his infected arm. He shoots up heroin into his infected arm, and when I saw the needle go into the infected arm, that's the closest I've ever come to fainting. The room just went dark, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going down." And I didn't quite get there; it just went dark, and then the lights came back up, and I was like, "Wow!" I nearly passed out there.
Are you serious? And you were you clear of mind? Were you were?
Yeah, I was just watching it on the couch.
Able-bodied?
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh God!" It just caught me off guard. Yeah.
Speaking of the Requiem for a Dream was 2000. So that was an omission. Wow.
Jennifer Connelly.
Stiff competition. By the way,
Ellen Burstyn was brilliant in that.
That movie was incredible. That movie. Yeah. But I remember distinctly, I was a prude. I didn't do any drugs or whatever. I watched Requiem for a Dream, and I was like, I'm never doing a drug for the rest of my life. That literally scared me straight. I was like, we're not going to Amsterdam. I'm never doing a drug in my life. It scared me straight. It didn't last for that long, but it did scare me for that summer. Anyway, so let's go to Christopher Nolan. Interstellar was 89.
Okay.
We have a lot of Christopher Nolan. Oppenheimer was 65. Memento was 62. And Inception was 55.
Wow.
I know. I think that's kind of like where you look at. You look at how many times that the director's been on this list. I think that's kind of like the measure of the power. The Dark Knight was 28. This guy's crushing. And so I those are all the Christopher Nolan films.
Do you think would you have put them all on there?
Christopher Nolan's movies. I love Memento. Obviously, that was ahead of its time and brilliant.
Dark Knight.
Once you get into Inception and once you get into like even Tenet. Obviously, Tenet didn't make this list because I don't think it's up to par with his other ones.
Yeah.
No knock against Tenet, but once you get to Inception and Interstellar, I'm like, okay, especially they're all like 2.5 hours or more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I need to watch this 4 or 5 times to even kind of grasp it. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like in
heady.
another world. I like being transported, but also for the really heady films, I get lost. I really do.
Yeah. Interstellar, I was like that. I was trying to figure out what's going on, and then he's gone, and this coming back, and now we're here, and I found that a little less enjoyable because I was thinking about all that stuff.
Exactly.
I did really enjoy Inception, though. I like Inception a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oppenheimer,
I agree.
Oppenheimer, I really liked too. I don't know that I would put it that high.
Yeah, well, obviously recency bias. Recency bias. So
yeah,
basically,
that's
the most recent ones will get a little love because people are remembering it. So yeah, Oppenheimer was 65. The other thing I will say is this is also encouraging to be like, oh yeah, I do need to give that film another watch, but it's also a good indication of a good measure of the storyteller, where it's like this is where you're hoping your audience is going to be more engaged if they understand it.
Yeah,
and that's the tricky part. I mean, Oppenheimer was pretty epic. He covered a lot. It was massive, and it was a huge box office success. So that's the incredible part. Yeah. You got everyone to go out to essentially a biopic on Oppenheimer, which is incredible.
True.
I will,
and it's not an action movie. It's exactly. It's just the study of this dude.
Did you know that obviously Barbenheimer and all that stuff kind of came into effect during that summer, which helped the box office and everyone was talking about it?
Yeah.
Did you know that fans were dressing up like Oppenheimer going to the theater?
No, I did not say that.
Yeah,
I know
there was a whole.
I know they're doing it for the Barbie movie, but
yeah, exactly. How
do you dress up?
I know
like
that's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. It's crazy, but obviously we're they got people out to the theater. Interesting omission. Barbie did not make top 100 in the 21st century.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you literally just didn't see it.
I didn't see it. I literally did not.
Oh my God.
It. That movie.
Oh, you're gonna get
crossed
crushed.
My eyes.
You're gonna get crushed. I have to edit this out. You're the last man on the planet not to watch Barbie. I respect that. Do you want to make a statement to all the women out there while you were the last man to not watch Barbie?
Do you know what? I started watching it one day and I just wasn't in the mood, and I didn't. I started watching it on HBO Max or whatever, and I wasn't in the mood for it. I just didn't catch me at the right time, and I was like,
"Is this gonna?"
I just cut my arse.
I love
and I
this.
like everybody involved in it. You know what I mean? I really like the actors and.
I watched it pretty late in the game. I saw a screening. Literally, Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, and America Ferrera were all there. So I was like, okay, this is the time to go see it. Obviously everyone raved about it. I really liked it. I was like, oh, maybe this is a good film that a lot of people really enjoyed, but I don't know if I would really get into it. Mm-hmm. I needed the right time and place to be like, okay, not too far into the movie, I'm in the world. I get it. I was in for the ride. I was in for the ride.
Good.
Yeah. So, I'm not one of those. I'm kind of amazed that you actually never finished it. But I agree. That's not a movie that you just, if that's on like cable TV or whatever, and you just happen to pop in and you just turn it on like 15 minutes in, no one's gonna plug you. You gotta be sitting in there for it to unfold from the first minute. It wasn't exactly catered to us, you know what I mean? It wasn't. Yeah. We weren't the audience.
Well, here's a challenge then. Here's a challenge for next week. For next week's podcast, I will go and watch Barbie, and you have to go and try drugs, and then we'll report back.
Yeah.
Like shoot heroin or whatever.
Yeah. Dealer's choice. I think that's a fair challenge.
Literally.
That's a fair challenge. Pun intended. Okay, so. Let's see here. Ratatouille. I love Ratatouille.
Any other how many animated?
They have Spirited Away, which is a classic animated movie.
Oh yeah.
That's not Pixar.
Ghibli. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have Up and Up at 50, and then Pixar. I'm sorry, Ratatouille at 73. That's the only Pixar movies. And I'm not gonna lie, Inside Out. I'm like, how can you not put Inside Out?
I didn't see Inside Out.
Oh God, yeah. Man!
I suppose I have to see Inside Out.
You gotta watch Inside Out.
I loved. Okay, here are my animated. Rango, I loved. I really enjoyed Rango. Also, WALL-E.
Okay.
WALL-E is a great movie.
That's true. WALL-E's
That's
classic.
one of my favorite.
To be honest, I think
animated.
WALL-E. I'm sorry. WALL-E did make it. WALL-E 2008. WALL-E. WALL-E was 34. WALL-E was 34.
That's my WALL-E impression. WALL-E.
That's pretty good.
Right?
You really do voiceover.
Yeah.
So we got Up at 50. We got WALL-E, and we got Ratatouille. But dude, you got to watch Inside Out. You got to watch Inside Out.
I do. What I like about the list, I think, is like there's lots of different genres in there, and I think that's cool. Yeah, exactly. I think that's fun. There's so many different genres in there. There's action movies, animated movies, sort of thrillers and thoughtful movies and biopics.
And I think it helps that it's not just New York Times writers trying to outsmart the room. These are filmmakers. These are entertainers. Yeah. And they just voted. They voted on their top 10.
Yeah. That Superbad is on there, or did you say Anchorman is on there?
Yeah, Anchorman. So let's just go on the comedies, because I always feel like there's a like film critics and comedy just kind of never really get along. They never really mesh very well. How do you
like when we talk about film being subjective, comedy is even more subjective, because taste in comedy is a whole other thing. And comedy, there's a real easy metric. Did you find it funny or not? Did you laugh? So it's, you can appreciate a film. It's harder to appreciate a comedy if it's not funny. You can appreciate a film for lots of different reasons, but if I'm not laughing and it's a comedy, I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah. Spot on. Yeah, that's exactly it. So let's just talk about some of the comedies. We talked about Anchorman. Little Miss Sunshine was an indie feel-good film, which was adorable. Yeah. You watched that, right?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
Paul Dano was so good in that.
I know. Actually, I think that was kind of his real breakout.
I think so, yeah.
In that film.
Yeah, Alan.
We have
fucking great.
Yeah,
she was
Steve
brilliant.
Carell. Actually, I think that was the first time Steve Carell was kind of doing a drama. Do you remember him? He was like incredibly depressed at the top. He was like the depressed uncle.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, one thing, just to go back to this whole independent film, there's only so much of that money to go to independent film by the Hollywood studios. And we're hoping that it swings back around, like Sinners, like, a lot of the other, like Weapons that just came out this summer.
Yeah.
We're hoping that it swings. And Ari Aster with Eddington, those type of films. Sometimes you need independent films for Steve Carell to do a dramatic role.
Yeah.
Where you can kind of take a little more of a risk and have choices that are outside the box. And I think that's kind of like what we're seeing here. And I think we can appreciate that, because a lot of these movies are not going to get made right now. So let's go through the comedies real quick. Best in Show. The only Christopher Guest movie. The only Christopher Guest movie on this list is Best in Show.
Yeah.
Borat, of course.
Huh.
Dude, how Borat. I thought Borat was so genius.
Yeah, it was very fun. It was funny.
Bridesmaids 32.
Yeah. That's not a huge surprise.
Yeah. Bridesmaids has to be on there. I mean, there you go. I think those are the comedies.
Those are the comedies?
Exactly.
Well, Anchorman and
Stiff competition. So, Kill Bill 61. This is a good question. How many Tarantino movies do you think will be on here?
Ooh, shit. Because the 2000 barrier is messing me up a little bit, but I think probably Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Kill Bill. I suppose Kill Bill was after 2000. Kill Bill, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't think The Hateful Eight makes it.
You'd be really surprised which was the top. The highest ranking one. Hang on.
There's Django.
Yeah.
Yeah, Django probably makes it on there.
Django does not make it on there.
Okay, all right.
You forgot Inglourious Bastards.
Oh
man, that movie aged well. Would you have guessed that that's his top movie? That's the top movie according to people.
Inglourious Basterds?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean,
I know, right?
it's got some
Surprising,
great
right?
performances in it. Christoph Waltz is phenomenal in that.
That's true.
It's a good... Yeah, it's a good movie. It's not one I think of that comes to my mind right away.
Another top filmmaker on this. First of all, I want to give some love to Whiplash. Whiplash,
What
60.
a movie.
Oh, Damien Chazelle. I love Whiplash so much.
Yeah, it's great.
Just growing up playing music, just in some weird masochistic way, I totally related. J.K. Simmons, absolutely crushed. To
Brilliant,
think
dude.
that,
He is so good in that movie.
yeah, to think that he would just come out of, that basically made him, put him on the map.
Yeah.
Put him on the map, and he was obviously a great actor. But
He's incredible.
it just goes to show that you never know. By the way, I don't know if you knew this. Damien Chazelle, obviously he was basically a genius kid from film school. I forget which school he went to. It might have been
School Hard
I think it was up in Boston. He did a test short, basically a proof of concept of that short. J.K. Simmons was in it. So J.K. Simmons was in that proof of concept.
Okay.
So he's been part of that project and part of that journey from the beginning. And a shout out to Miles Teller, because to be honest, I think that was my favorite performance of Miles Teller.
Same.
Of all his movies.
He was excellent in it. Excellent. And the last scene of that movie is fucking incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so on that note of Damien Chazelle, big omission, La La Land.
Didn't see it.
I did not foresee this conversation going this way. There's nothing wrong with that. Just a little surprised, but yeah. Where were you? Where were you in 2014? What were you just never saw La La Land?
Just really busy doing other things. I think there's certain movies that I don't immediately go, God, I can't wait to see that. And one of them is a movie with dancing and singing in it, where I'm like, even though I like the people involved, I'm like, I don't know if I want to go see people singing and dancing. I wouldn't rush out to see that.
You didn't appreciate it? You didn't appreciate watching a musical or whatever?
I mean, yes. When I've gone to see them, they're very impressive, and I really like the music from some of them. But I don't. It's not a form that I gravitate towards, because I just didn't really grow up in it. I saw Cats when I was a kid, and that was cool. But like, I was also probably 7 years old, and it was
okay.
I know the amount of work that goes into it and the amount of skill involved. I think it's really impressive, but it's not the first thing I would go see ever.
I see. Okay, you and I are kind of in the same ballpark. I appreciate when I see it. I don't seek it out. But La La Land obviously was of its time. Like I would say that it doesn't feel classical traditional musicals. La La Land was not. Yeah. So a lot of people felt it was, to put it in perspective, it was not your traditional musical, which actually got a lot of pushback. But people like me, who was kind of ambivalent to musicals, I actually really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And, when you have,
which is fair.
Obviously Emma Stone wins an Oscar for it, so there's something to there. And then also it's like the fact that they're movie stars, but also great actors, not necessarily musical performers.
Right.
So there's a disconnect. If you wanted the best voice, that's something, or you want Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling to be in a rom-com, and that's another thing. Yeah. Let's just round up the last few. The last shout out. It's really impressive how many David Fincher are in here. I want to say David Fincher movies. Social Network for sure is one of my top films. Social Network makes the top 10. Zodiac, number 19.
Yeah. Okay. Gone Girl.
It's kind of amazing that people still remember Zodiac, because obviously that was a while ago. But I thought people still love that movie, and I thought David Fincher directed Moneyball, but it was Bennett Miller, so I guess that's not a David Fincher movie.
Got it. Gone
Moneyball
Girl
made it.
That make it in?
Yeah. Gone Girl at 64. So a lot of David Fincher, and let's just do the top 10 here. By the way, I was amazed at how many people loved Children of Men. I gotta watch that film again.
That movie's great.
It kind of came and went for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that movie. I also that single shot is
Oh,
really
yeah, the one take?
impressive. There's like a 2 or 3 minute oneer that's like, or no, maybe it's longer. Maybe it's like 6 minutes or something. It's something incredible. There's just a really elaborate one shot. Anyway,
shout out to Alfonso Cuarón. Children of Men is 13. Y Tu Mama Tambien is 18. And then Gravity made 97.
okay.
So, man, I forgot. I was sleeping on him as far as how great he is. So here's the top 10. Number 10 is The Social Network. Number 9 is Spirited Away.
Okay.
8 is Get Out. Get Out is number 8. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is number 7.
Wow.
No Country for Old Men is number 6. Moonlight is number 5. Number 4 is In the Mood for Love, which is obviously on everyone's best of lists. There Will Be Blood is number 3.
Wow, okay.
Mulholland Drive is number 2.
Great movie.
And Parasite is number 1.
Great movie.
So,
would not have had Parasite at number 1 as much as I enjoyed the movie.
Chime in about your Parasite take, because I'm not completely shocked.
I liked it a lot. It didn't stand out to me as one of the best movies of the last 20 years. I thought it was a great movie.
It's a high bar.
Yeah, it is a high bar. I don't know what I would stick in there ahead of it. It's very hard to pick a top. But that's not one that would come to mind and go, oh yeah, Parasite number 1 for me.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think that's a justified spot?
But the way that my mind works is it's a very select list who would be number 1.
Sure.
It's There Will Be Blood, Parasite, In the Mood for Love, and that's kind of it. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like I can't even get myself to say which one is the number 1 film of the 21st century. I can't even say that for myself. But what I'm saying is that film got the most votes to be put in the top 10.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of weird how to categorize it, but I can't imagine it. By the way, Mulholland Drive, rest in peace, David Lynch.
David Lynch.
I might need to revisit Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised number 2. You're not?
Yeah. No, I am. Even though
that was like a fever dream. I got to watch that again. I that was a long time ago for me. Anyway, all right. So that's the list. Wait, go ahead. You have
I
a
was
list?
just gonna say, did blue as the warmest color make it at all onto that list? The acting in that was like another level of realism that I hadn't seen, I think, before that. It was just incredible acting. Now it since came out afterwards that the director was quite abusive, I think, and like,
I heard about that.
There was a lot of controversy around it, but from the sheer acting perspective, I mean, it was just the level of realism in it was incredible.
I remember they posted some celebrities lists, and that was on one of them. I think it was on Mikey Madison's list.
Okay.
That she chose that as her top 10. Was not on it.
I was blown away by the acting in it, I have to say.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it was incredible.
There you go. You got good taste, buddy. So let me just rattle off these omissions. Return of the King, Honora, no Honora, everyone. No Poor Things, no Killers of the Flower Moon, Little Women, I'm not surprised. The
Return
Two
of
Towers.
the King, I'm not that surprised at because the Fellowship of the Ring was brilliant. Return of the King, there was a lot more CGI in the battle scenes, and I don't know if it was just it was a bit more jarring.
Yeah,
because it was the culmination of the 3, and like, it's to my mind is not the best of the 3.
It makes sense, and to be honest, like only a few of these am I shocked. I put in my vote for Inside Out, but Toy Story 3 did not make it. But I think after Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2.
Isn't that the highest rated movie on... Paddington 2 is the highest rated movie on IMDb. That didn't make it?
Paddington 2 did not make it. That's actually on this list of omissions, but that's funny that you spotted that. Finding Nemo, no. War of the Worlds, no. Pride and Prejudice, no. La La Land, like I said. Anyway, those are the omissions. Barbie and Munich, not on there. Manchester by the Sea. Manchester by the Sea also is not on there.
Grim, great movie. Munich is a great movie too. Kieran Hines is so fucking good in Munich. Anyway, carry on. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's the list. Just trying to build up this love for film. I think it's encouraging, and it's kind of like this conversation for both of us.
I tell you what, it has done is inspired me to go rewatch movies that I haven't seen in a while and watch new movies. You know, off that list 100%. that I missed along the way. So I like that we're
100%.
talking about this. Whether it appeals to other people remains to be seen.
Yeah.
If you're still here at the end of this episode, good for you.
Keep the spirit alive. In the words of Kevin Bacon, movies need us and we need movies. All right. So hidden gems. Far away.
Gems. So I just started this. Been a lot of chatter about this in class. But this audio book where Malcolm Gladwell interviews Paul Simon about his sort of creative process. Now I just started it, so it's a bit of a cheeky hidden gem because I'm not finished it. 30 hours of conversations between Simon, Malcolm Gladwell, and Broken Record podcast co-host Bruce Headlam. And it flows from Simon's music to his childhood in Queens, his frequent collaborators, obviously Art Garfunkel being the most famous of those, and the nature of creativity. But so far, I just started it, but I would, based on other people's reactions to it, it's a pretty special book. So that's my hidden gem. Yeah, I
love Gladwell. I've read most of his books, so I gotta check that out. Awesome. So on this note of film appreciation, this just came across. I think I saw a link. Collab Sundance, or I think it's technically Sundance Collab. It's this online collective. They do all these digital events year round, building the community. This week, or literally today, I'm hoping to jump into. They're doing a script club event for Mulholland Drive. Basically, everyone reads the script, and then they actually have a discussion about the film and just nerd out. But there's an event next week. Aronofsky and I believe his cinematographer, they're going to talk about the cinematography of his latest film.
Cool.
With Austin Butler. What was it? Oh, Caught Stealing. Austin Butler's doing a film with Zoe Kravitz. Darren Aronofsky is directing. So on this event page, these are all free. So you can see Aronofsky and his cinematographer talk about the cinematography in that film. It's fun. I'm going to check it out. Get cultured with my film knowledge. And I'll put the link for Sundance Collab in the show notes. So there you go. Hidden gem, everyone. That's it. Boom.
Gems that are hidden. Boom.
All right. Well, hope you enjoyed the show. See you next week, everyone.
See you next week.